Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. How are you, children? Okay, today we are going to attempt paper 1 computer system specimen paper, and this will help you a lot in preparing for your exam. This first thing is paper 1 is computer systems. The very first thing is we need to know the instructions. In this paper 1, we have to attempt all the questions. You have to use a black or a dark blue pen. You may use a pencil and HB pencil for drawing any diagrams or graphs. You have to write your name, center number, and candidate number in the boxes that are given at the top of each page. You have to write your answer to each question in the space given. Please do not use an erasable pen or correction fluid at all. We are not supposed to write anything in the barcodes. Calculator must not be used in the paper, so please do not take the calculators to the examination hall at all. The paper is of 75 marks. The number of marks are given at the end of each question or the part of each question in the brackets. Please be very clear that you are not going to get any mark if you are mentioning the brand name or the software packages at all. So please, you need to follow these instructions. And now we are moving to the first question of this specimen paper. A school network has several computers. Each computer in the network has a media access control or MAC address. Hexadecimal is used for MAC addresses. Part of MAC address is given, and the address is 97, then hyphen, then 5C hyphen E1. Each pair of the digits is stored as binary in an 8-bit register. Complete the binary register for these two pairs of digits. Now, it's very simple. 9, what you will do is you will actually find out the value for 9 in 4 bits or the nibble. And what the answer is, it will be 1001. As you can see, on the first 4 bits, the value is representing 9. And the next 4 bits are representing the value 7, which is 0111. Be very clear, you have to find it out in the same manner that for each hexadecimal value, you have to write down the answer in 4 bits, no matter whether the number seems to be something that you already are aware of as a ternary number. Please be very cautious that this is going to be simply finding out the binary value in the form of a nibble for the hex digits. Second one is easy, 5C. So you have first of all written the value for 5, which is 0101, and then C is 12, so it is 1100. So if you have mentioned the answer in the same manner correctly, then you will be able to score 4 marks very easily. Part B, describe what is meant by MAC address. Hence a 4-mark question. So it means that you need to write down 4 valid points. So a few of the valid points are mentioned below. It is used to identify a device. It is unique. It is a unique address. It is a static address, or it does not change. It is set by the manufacturer. The first part is the manufacturer ID or the number, and it is identifying the manufacturer. The second part is the serial number or the ID. And this is going to definitely get, if you have written any 4 points from the given list, then you will be definitely able to score 4 out of 4 very easily. Moving on to part C, give 2 other uses of hexadecimal in computer science. Now be very clear. Since they have mentioned the MAC address, so you are not allowed to use the word MAC address at all. So any 2 will be color codes or color codes in HTML or CSS. But I suggest you that you do not mention color codes. You mention the complete term that HTML color codes or color codes in HTML. Error messages, locations in memory, memory dump, or if a student has written debugging, then that will also be considered as the right answer. IPv6 address, mention the version, please, because if you remember, by the way, do we remember the IP addresses? What are the 2 versions of IP addresses that we have learned? That's great, IPv6 and IPv4. And IPv4 is IPv4 also a hex value? That's great, Ali. IPv4 is a denary number. So that is why I suggest you that you mention IPv6 address to give a clear indication that it's going to be denoted by a hex value. ASCII code or Unicode, assembly language, and uniform resource locator or URL. So if a student has mentioned any two out of the given list, he will be able to score 2 out of 2. Now the next part is another value is stored as binary in a register, and you can see the value is given to you, which is written as 01010010. A logical left shift of 2 places is performed on the binary value. Now, please remember that actually left shift means that these 2 bits are going to be moving out of the byte. And what means is it will be this 0 will come here, this 1 will come here, the 0 will come here, the 0 will come here, this 1 will come here, and the 0 will come here. And the 2 empty places will be padded with a 0. Please be clear, you're not going to mention 0, 1 here. The 2 bits that have been performed, that have have undergone left shift, they are going to move out of the byte completely. They will not be actually performing the round operation. Please be clear that they are moving out the byte completely, and the empty places will be storing a 0 here. Clear? Now, state 1 effect this logical shift has on the binary value. Now, since I am very much, okay, this is not a general question. This is linked with your part D1. So you can see here, 0, 1, the 2 values are actually moving out. So it means that the value becomes incorrect because the left modes bits are lost. So in this case, since the value that is lost is including a 1 as well, that is why in this scenario, the value is becoming incorrect. Please be cautious that the question is dealing right now with respect to part D1. It is not a general question. So if it was a general question, then you must have mentioned what you have learned, that left shift results in, yes, can you recall? Does it result in multiplying the value, or does it result in dividing the value? Okay, now that's great that we remember that with each left shift, there is going to be multiplication by 2, and second will be multiplication by 4. That's wonderful, Ali. But in this case, you can see for yourself that the value is resulting in an incorrect answer because the leftmost bits that are being lost are containing a 1 as well. Clear? That's great. Now, part E. Negative denary numbers can also be represented as binary using 2's complement. How many of us remember 2's complement? Okay. Complete the binary register for the denary value -54. By the way, if the value is a positive denary number and the word 2's complement was used there, will there be any change in your answer? Yes, Ahmed? Oh, now that's wonderful that you remember that there will be no change in the answer. Thank you, Saad, for the correct answer. That in case, like I'm just at the moment revising, this has nothing to do with this question. I'm just revising with whatever we have learned earlier, that in case the value was given as a positive denary number, so it will be handled in the same manner as we are handling the normal positive denary value. So be clear, since it is negative, that's why we have to apply the 2's complement. You must show all your working for this value, that is -54. Now, what I'm doing is, if you recall, by the way, there are marks that are given for each part. 1 mark is for method, for example, conversion to binary, then flipping and adding 1, and 1 mark for the correct answer. By the way, what am I doing is, first of all, the very first line is indicating the value of 54. Yeah, or you can say I'm finding out the binary for 54, ignoring the negative part completely. So what I obtained was 00110110. Okay, now I'm telling the answer from the MSB, most significant bit. Now, what is done as the next part is I'm flipping. First thing is I'm finding out the binary for 54. Then I am going to flip the bits, like all the zeros become 1 and all the 1s become 0. So what is the answer is 11001001. And then you are going to perform the addition of 1. And please see that this value 1 will be added on the extreme right-hand side or your LSB, least significant bit. And what you obtain as a final answer is 0101. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm saying it again from MSB. 11001010. And if you have obtained the answer, then you'll simply write it down in the register and you are able to score 2 out of 2. So there are marks reserved for each stage. Attempt, show it in the working area and you will be able to score. Any issues with this question before I proceed to question number 2? Yes, Saad, any problem? Okay, wonderful. Question number 2. A company has a website that is stored on a web server. The website's data is broken down into packets to be transmitted to a user. Describe the structure of a data packet. By the way, do we remember the alternate words for data packet? Okay, that's great. Wonderful, Ali. It's datagram. So what are the components of your data packet, or what is the structure for data packet? So you have learned already that it has a header, and that header contains the destination address, that contains the packet number, that contains the originator address. So if you have mentioned, that's wonderful. It has a payload. By the way, do we remember the size of the payload? Excellent, Ahmed. It is 64 kilobytes. And it has a trailer, which is in the end. So if you have mentioned these explanations, a little bit of the explanation along with the keywords, which are the parts of your data packet, like header, payload, and trailer, then definitely you will be able to score 4 out of 4 very easily. Part B. The website holds videos, and the website hosts videos that users can stream. The company uploads new videos to the website. The videos are compressed before they are uploaded to the website. Tick one box to show which statement is a benefit of compressing the videos. Data is encrypted. Duration of each video will be reduced. Less storage space on the web server is required. More bandwidth is required when viewing the videos. Now, which is the right answer? Part C? Yes, correct. Part C is the right answer. Now, second question. Give 2 methods. Now, second part of this question, part B. Give 2 methods of compression that could be used to compress the videos. And I hope that we remember the 2 types of compression, lossy and lossless. So in this manner, you can easily score 2 out of 2. The company uses parallel half-duplex data transmission to transmit the data for the new videos to the web server. Explain why parallel half-duplex data transmission is the most appropriate method. By the way, if you recall, now it's a 4-mark question, meaning that there are 2 marks that you have to explain the parallel transmission, and there are 2 marks that you have to explain the benefit of half-duplex transmission. So in this manner, we are bifurcating our 4 marks into parallel and half-duplex. Parallel would allow the fastest transmission of the large amount of data. That is going to explain that why the company is going to use parallel. What is the benefit? Data can be uploaded and downloaded, but this does not have to be at the same time. That is for half-duplex. Data is not required to travel a long distance. Therefore, skewing is not a problem. So now they have explained, like, for example, definitely if they are talking about the parallel method, and I hope that we remember that parallel is fastest, but parallel has a few disadvantages. Can we recall? Yes, can we recall the disadvantages, or you can say the drawbacks or limitations of parallel transmission? Yes, that's great. It is going to be for, it's costlier, and it's not very secure. As you can see, the data can become skewed. But here it's mentioned as last point, the data is not required to travel a long distance. Therefore, skewing is not a problem. Part C. The company is concerned about a distributed denial of service attack, DDoS. If you remember, describe what is meant by a DDoS attack. Now, what is DDoS? Any 4 from the following. Multiple computers are used as bots designed to deny people access to a website. A large number or numerous requests are sent to a web server, all at the same time. the server is unable to respond, struggles to respond or to all the requests, the server fails, times out as a result. Now, these are a few points that are being mentioned. So if you recall from your learning about DDoS, distributed denial of service attack, so that you can write down any valid point, your explanation, short description should be valid enough so that you are able to score 4 out of 4. So descriptions may vary from student to student, but the main concepts that you need to cover are that what is happening, multiple computers are sending the data, it will result in overloading your web server, so it may not be able to process so many of the requests. So a large number of requests that are coming to it, and they all are coming at the same time. So it may result in the server unable to respond, or it may result in the server failing. So if you have mentioned in your own words, and if you have mentioned all these points, then definitely you will be able to score 4 out of 4 very easily. Any questions? Any ambiguity? Anything that is unclear? Okay. Suggest one security device that can be used to help prevent a DDoS attack. So if a student has written firewall, he will score 1 out of 1. Or if any other student has written proxy server, then that student will also be able to score 1 out of 1. So any of these two options are the valid answers for this suggesting the security device that can be used to help prevent a DDoS attack. Question number 3, part A. A web server has an internet protocol or IP address. Give 3 characteristics of an IP address. So now here they are not mentioning IPv4, IPv6 or anything like that. So you can mention anything as well here. So that is what you can see. 3-mark question, means 3 valid points. Consists of values between 0 till 255 or 0 to FFF. Values are separated by full stops or colons. It is a unique address, can be static or dynamic. By the way, do we remember static IP and dynamic IP? Yes, Ahmed, can we recall? Yes, that's great, wonderful. Static IP, Ali, you have written the answer correctly. Static IP is not changing. It's a fixed IP, and dynamic IP is a changing IP. Can be public or private. Can be IPv4, have 4 groups of digits, or can be IPv6, have 8 groups of digits. In IPv6, you can see the colons, the double colon, the colon is appearing twice, can replace the groups of zeros. So if any student has written any of these points, any of these 3 points, you can easily score 3 out of 3. Isn't it easy? Okay. Identify the network component that uses the IP address to send data only to its correct destination. Yes, router. That's great. Wonderful, Ali. That this is the router. Now, part B. The website has a uniform resource locator or URL. An example of a URL is given below. Now you can see the URL is given as https://www.cambridgeassessment.org.uk/index.html. Complete the table to identify the name of each section of the URL. Now, if you can recall, HTTPS, what is it? It's a protocol. That's wonderful. But by the way, does anyone remember the full form of HTTPS? Yes, sir? That's great. Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. CambridgeAssessment.org.uk is the domain name, and /index.html is your web page. Or if another student has written file name, then that is also correct. So in this manner, you can easily score 3 out of 3. Isn't it easy? Just remember, and you are able to score very easily if the question deals with URL. Now, question number 4. A computer has a volume and architecture. Now, don't get afraid, it's all simple. Circle 3 components that are part of the student processing unit in this computer. Now, you can see there are accumulator, hard disk drive, memory address register, program counter, random access memory, read-only memory, sensor, SSDs. So definitely, if you have actually studied this volume and architecture in detail, and if you have remembered, then definitely you are going to cut all the components except for accumulator, program counter, and memory address register. So these are the three components that are a part of the CPU. All others are not a part of the CPU, so you are not going to circle them at all. Easy? Now let's move on to the other question. Part B. Describe the purpose of this control unit within this computer. Now, what is the purpose? It sends control signals, as the name implies, control signals, control unit that manage it. These control signals are there to manage the transfer of data and instructions within the CPU. And its purpose is also to decode an instruction, and these instructions are decoded using an instruction set. Okay. The computer has a single core CPU. State one purpose of a core in a CPU. Now, if the student has written the answer to process an instruction or to carry out a fetch execute cycle, then definitely he is able to score 1 out of 1 because he has simply stated the right reason of why do we have core in a CPU. The computer is upgraded to a dual core CPU. Explain how the upgrade can affect the performance of the computer. Now, with this, from single core to a dual core, or from this situation to the above situation, what is going to be the effect? Now, so what happens is it can now process 2 instructions simultaneously. It will definitely increase the performance. So increasing the core from the normal core to a dual core will result in upgrading your system, will result in making your system perform better. It will be improving the performance. By the way, do we remember any other core also? Dual core and any other core? Yes, that's great. It is the quad core. Now, the computer uses a bootstrap. Tick one box to show the part of a computer of which the bootstrap is an example. Is it an application software? Is it a firmware? Is it hard disk drive, or is it MAC address? So definitely out of these, all are inappropriate except for part B, that is firmware. So you will simply tick this box to find out, to tell that bootstrap is an example of firmware. Any questions till now? Question number 5. A programmer uses a high-level language to create a computer program. Identify 2 advantages to the programmer of using a high-level language instead of a low-level language. So if a student has written, it is easier or quicker to write, read, or understand, that's perfect. It is easier, quicker to debug, code is portable. So any of these points are going to, any of these 2 points are going to give the student 2 out of 2. Suggest one disadvantage to the program of using a high-level language instead of a low-level language. So anyone not able to directly manipulate the hardware may need to wait for translation before running the program. Program may be less efficient. So these are a few of the disadvantages or limitations of high-level language. Although there are many benefits, that is why they have become very popular, but still they have a few drawbacks. And if a student has written any of this, then he will be definitely scoring 1 out of 1. The programmer uses an IDE when creating the computer program. State what is meant by an IDE. And simple, software that provides the useful functions that are needed by a programmer so that he can write a computer program. So if you remember, we have done, by the way, have you used any IDE up till now? Okay, the ones who are, if you remember, we have done Python programming. So in Python, we are using its IDE to, that is software that is giving me the function of writing the program. I can debug in the same place. I can make amendments in the same place. So that is what is the feature of the IDE. Question number 6. Robots are used in the factory to build cars. One characteristic of a robot is its mechanical structure. State 2 other characteristics of a robot. So what are the 2 characteristics? It has electrical components. It is programmable. So if a student has written these answers, so definitely he's going to score 2 out of 2. Suggest two advantages of using robots instead of humans to build cars in the factory. So if a student has written the answer as more efficient than a human, more accurate than a human, can lift larger and heavier equipments than a human, can replace humans working in a dangerous environment, reduces running costs such as wages and overheads. Please be clear that if you're writing a reducing running cost, then it's better if you mention the wages and overheads, so that will make your answer a better answer. Can produce consistent results or output, can work 24/7, and they do not need breaks at all. They can continue to function without complaining, without asking for a break, and that is the biggest advantage of using robots. By the way, is there any disadvantage of using robots? Robots need to be programmed. Yes, correct. Thank you very much, Ali, for answering promptly. Now, I hope that we all are clear about this. So I'm discussing a few things just for your benefit. So that will help you in remembering, recalling your earlier stuff as well. Question number 7. The Unicode character set is used to represent text that is typed into a computer. Describe what is meant by a character set. Now, what is character set? All the characters and symbols that are present that can be represented by a computer system are treated as a character set, and each character and symbol is assigned a unique value. Now remember that every single character, capital or small, is given a unique value. So no two letters, no two digits, no two symbols are assigned the same value. They all are holding a unique value, and that is one of its biggest thing that we need to remember. One disadvantage of using the Unicode character set instead of the ASCII character set is that the text store takes up more storage space. Give one reason why it takes up more storage space. If you remember, by the way, how many bits are or how many bytes are used by Unicode character? That's great. Every single value, every single character in Unicode is occupying 4 bytes. And by the way, 4 bytes equal to how many bits? That's great. It was a 32. So here you don't have to mention. I'm just going for a quick recap. But otherwise, if you have written each character is encoded using more bits, that will definitely give you an out of 1. Easy? Yes? Okay. Now, draw a diagram. Question number 8. Draw a diagram to represent how virtual memory is created and used. It's a 4-mark question. So now you need to see that here the student is supposed to draw the diagram, but what are the components that the diagram should hold? The diagram should have a hard drive, because definitely virtual memory is created in a hard drive. The hard drive portioned in some way to create virtual memory. Like you are not going to mention the whole hard drive to be used as virtual memory. Definitely, it will be consuming only some part of your hard drive area. Definitely, you have to draw the RAM, and you have to indicate the movement of pages, the transference of pages between the RAM and the virtual memory. So these 4 components should be a part of the diagram. And just as an example, you can see RAM is drawn, then we have hard drive, and there is virtual memory being drawn as a part of your hard drive, and then there is an arrow that is showing the transfer of pages, and that will constitute your complete diagram. And in this manner, you will be able to score 4 out of 4, because every single thing like RAM, 1 mark, transfer of pages, 1 mark, hard drive, 1 mark, and virtual memory drawn as a part of the hard drive will be 1 mark. It means in this manner, you will be able to score 4 out of 4. Now, part B. A student is using software to create 3D models. Okay. Yes, Ali, do you have a question, beta? I think we are clear with the term virtual memory, isn't it? Yes, thank you very much. Virtual memory, you can recall that virtual memory is created in hard drive. The empty space of the hard drive is used as VM, so that the data that is not used by RAM in RAM at the moment can move to the virtual memory, and it will result in space becoming available in RAM for more data to be stored. And definitely once that data is needed from virtual memory, it will be transferred to RAM so that it can work on the required data. Remember this, all staff? Okay, thank you. A student is using software to create 3D models. This process often requires the use of virtual memory. Explain why virtual memory is needed for this process. Now, it's a 3-mark question, so definitely the student is supposed to write down 3 valid points. And why do we need VM? To extend the RAM capacity, to stop the 3D modeling software from freezing or crashing when the physical RAM is full, to allow the computer to process large amount of data that is required for 3D modeling. So definitely it's a very simple thing. Rather than utilizing or extending your RAM size, RAM capacity, what you can do is definitely we are going to use the empty space of your hard drive as RAM and as virtual memory, and that is what is mentioned here. So if you have written this answer following the whole sequence properly, then definitely you will be able to score 3 out of 3. Question number 9. Complete the sentences about symmetric encryption. By the way, do we remember symmetric encryption? Okay, use the terms from the list. Some of the terms in the list will not be used. You should only use a term once. So you can see the terms are mentioned here: algorithm, cipher, copy, delete, key, plain, private, public, standard, stolen, understood, unreadable. First sentence: the data before encryption is known as plain text. Very simple. To scramble the data encryption algorithm, which is a type of key, is used. Now, if a student has written in this manner that he has mentioned algorithm in the first blank of the second sentence, and in the second blank of the second sentence, he wrote key. In this manner, he will be able to score 2 marks. On the contrary, another student wrote key in the first blank and wrote algorithm in the second blank, he will also be able to score 2 marks. So in this manner, that is why it's written differently, so you can comprehend algorithm and key, algorithm first and key later, or key first and algorithm later are going to give you 2 out of 2. The data after encryption is known as ciphertext. Encryption prevents the data from being understood by a hacker. Now remember, will hacker be able to intercept the data? Yes or no? The data that is being scrambled, the data that is encrypted, will he be able to intercept, or will it become said that it is not intercepted at all? That's correct. Thank you, Asad. That actually the hackers will still be able to intercept, but they will not be able to understand what the message is. The message will become, you can say, meaningless for the hacker. So that is why encryption prevents the data from being understood by a hacker. Thank you. Question number 10. An art gallery uses SSL, secure socket layer, to provide a secure connection when selling art on its website. Describe the process of SSL and explain how it provides a secure connection. A very simple thing. You have to write down any 6 valid points to score 6 out of 6. So if you remember, first thing is SSL is a protocol, a security protocol. As in the name itself implies, secure socket layer. It encrypts the data that is sent. It uses or sends the digital certificates just sent to the buyer's or the user's browser. It contains the gallery's public key that can be used to authenticate the gallery. Once the certificate is authenticated, the transaction will begin. So if you have actually understood the SSL technique, if you have understood the SSL sequence, and you have mentioned the points in the right, can say, describe the points in the proper manner, this proper sequence is maintained. So definitely you are going to score 6 out of 6. Any questions, any ambiguity regarding any of the questions that you have done till now? No? Okay, that's wonderful. Now, thank you very much, children, for being a part of the learning journey. Allah Hafiz, Jazakallah khairan kaseera, and please subscribe my channel, keep watching my videos, and do not forget to click on the bell icon so that you are getting the updates as soon as any new videos are uploaded. Jazakallah once again for being for being a part of the learning process. Allah Hafiz.